Welcome to the third episode of Learn to Redstone. Today, we're gonna take a look at the repeater as well as the comparator. Let's go! So today's episode, we're gonna start off with the repeater. This is a very interesting redstone component because it is capable of putting some delay into a redstone signal. This can be achieved by right-clicking onto the repeater, putting some delay into it. Each stage of the repeater adds 1 redstone tick of delay, which is equal to 2 game ticks. Every second in real life has 20 game ticks and 10 redstone ticks. So the repeater in base state has a delay of 1 redstone ticks, so 1/10 of a second. And I added 2 repeaters in here just for demonstration reasons. We can remove one of those. So flick it on and the lamp will turn on ever so slightly later. So and then if we add some delay in here, you can see it takes a lot longer until the lamp switches on. It is then 5/10 or 1/2 of a second until the lamp switches on and switches back off again. Repeaters do also have a very interesting feature which is called repeater locking. By powering a repeater directly into its side by another repeater, a small piece of bedrock will appear here, and the repeater can't emit more power to the next component, which is directly attached to its front. So he's basically locked into a state where he was originally in. Once we remove the power from the side, the repeater will just turn on normally and just act as it normally does. And if you just lock him in a powered state and then we unpower it, it will stay switched on. This feature can be useful in some more complex redstone builds. I myself do not use this feature too often because I just forget about it all the time, and then I work around this feature, which is pretty annoying, and then I just realized at the end that I could have made it this way, which would have made my system a lot more compact. So if you have seen my last episode of Learn to Redstone, you might know that redstone dust does decrease in signal strength when traveling over blocks. So how do we get the signal strength to be up at 15 again? Well, we add in the repeater. The repeater just basically strengthen the pulse again, and so we can just extend the redstone lines to madness at the cost of 1 redstone tick of delay every repeater we add in. So if you have a very long travel to do with your redstone, well, repeaters will add a lot of delay until you're there. Another pretty obvious feature of the redstone repeater is directionality. So if you power this lever here, so this redstone dust here, the redstone repeater doesn't strengthen the pulse in the opposite way it is supposed to do. That's what this arrow here indicates. That only when the repeater is powered from the back, it can strengthen the pulse and submit power to the next component. It is not possible either to power it from the side. In this case I'm showing off here, you do want to power only this lamp and not the other one. So, and if you power it on from the top, you do not want to power this lamp, but only this lamp. What do? You use a redstone repeater in this position here, so the redstone dust won't connect down here, so the lamp here can be turned on. But if you send power along here, well, the lamp there turns on. So you just exchange redstone dust here by a repeater. Here it will also be possible to add redstone dust and then block it off from the top. You can choose whatever you want to do. That's just some use cases for a repeater. So now, the Redstone Comparator. It has two states, either this one, which it is currently in, it is the compare mode, and when the little lamp at the front here is lit, it is in subtract mode. You can power a redstone comparator from three sides. The first one is the back, which is the input, so it just puts the signal straight through without compromising on signal strength. So if you just would like add in, let's say, 12, signal strength of 12, you would, or a signal strength of 13, it would just emit a signal strength of 13, which is pretty great. So for just like transporting certain signal strength along, you can use a redstone comparator. If you want to compare or subtract two signals, you do also need to power the comparator from the side with a certain signal strength. So if you power it at the back here, then you will see the signal strength it outputs is 13. It is currently in compare mode, and if we switch on the signal here, the signal is stronger, so the comparator switches off. If we would add it into subtract mode, it would also switch off because 15 minus 13 is minus 2, and Redstone obviously can't display minus 2 or any negative number, so it's just 0. But if we change around the layout here, we do have a signal strength of 15 going into it. In compare mode, the signal just travels through because this signal is weaker than the input signal. And if we change the mode of the comparator, the signal strength will be 2 because 15 minus 13 is 2. Makes sense, doesn't it? If you want to let a signal travel along with a certain signal strength, which it doesn't lose or the signal strength won't increase, just build up something like that, alternating between a comparator, redstone dust, block, and then a comparator, and so on. So if you power here, we get a signal strength of 14 here, 14 here, 14 here, and so on. Like this, you can just chain a lot of comparators to each other, so you can transport a certain signal strength over a long distance at a compromise of 1 redstone tick per comparator you add in, because it has 1 redstone tick of delay when powering on and powering off as well. The comparator is also capable of reading out block states, so actually the block state of containers, so how much a container is filled. A container is something like a chest, hopper, cauldron, lectern, composters, and also the comparator is also capable of reading out the honey fill of a beehive or a bee's nest. So you can use them for making a honey farm. Pretty easy thing to do actually. I could make a tutorial on that, or you can actually find a tutorial on bee farms everywhere pretty much. So if we add in like a stack of chests into a chest, there's a block state of 1. If we will add like a couple more chests, as you can see here, the redstone signal went up to 4. And if we fill the chest up fully, we get a signal strength of 15. There's, for example, the lectern. If you add a book into there, and then you on page 1, and then the signal strength gradually increases when going up the pages. It indicates the page number from 1 to 15. If you have more than 15 pages, you will not know where the player is on which page the player is on, so yeah. I will also put a link for each of those two components from the MaxCraft-wiki into the video description, because for the comparator there's the entire list of which containers and which blocks it is able to read out its block state, so you can read it up and look it up there when you need it. And the MaxCraft-wiki is also a great resource if you're wanting to learn some redstone. I refer to it a lot because it really explains everything greatly. Check it out, link is in the description. One special case for a combination between comparators and detector arrays I still want to cover, because if you have a hopper minecart or a chest minecart on top of a detector rail, it pretty much works like a normal hopper and a normal chest. It can just read out how many items there are in there, or actually how much the hopper minecart or the chest minecart is filled up, as you can see here. And so this is it for today's episode of Learn to Redstone. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then make sure to subscribe to get notified about my newest videos. Until next time, goodbye!